Podcasts on UNC-TV.org are made possible through the financial contributions of viewers like you, who invite you to join them in supporting UNC-TV.
When you think of places to view photos of historic people, mostly museums or galleries come to mind. Jeff Smith found one spot where you can sleep alongside the history of the oldest public university in the country.
Check in, get your bags, and learn the history of several hundred people. That's what you can experience now at the Carolina Inn on the University of North Carolina Chapel Hill campus. For years, the inn has displayed some of the history of the university on its walls, but there was not a particular placement or order to the collection. When the inn began a renovation project in 2008, there was an effort to organize the school's history, which opened in 1795.
One of the things that we did is we collected some of the historical art that was scattered about the building. The most interesting example of that probably is a set of 20 prints, special prints, that were done by UNC Press in 1964 that were based off the original drawings of the late 16th century done by John White, who was sent over by Sir Walter Raleigh and was famous for being the governor of what later became the Lost Colony on Roanoke Island.
The collection expanded to include a historical look at the former students and professors who were part of the university up to the mid-1960s. Kenneth Zagrai is a historian who pulled together the collection of over 600 photos and artifacts. The collection is spread across the top 3 floors of the inn along guest room corridors and in many lounge areas where guests can gather. For now, the collection in the corridor stops at 1965, and the lounges include more recent entries.
So this is one of the examples of a lounge that you have, but there's hallways and lounges throughout. They have different themes. Now talk about some of the themes, including this one, which is a drama theme.
That's right. There are 4 lounges on the 3rd and 4th floors, and actually a total of 5 themes, because on the 2nd floor we have drama lounge where we're standing now, and then above us is a music lounge. But in these lounges, we decided to go up to the present time and include some people that would be known to younger folks, as well as our visitors guests who've been coming here for many years.
And one of those names that's definitely familiar with most people would be Andy.
Andy Griffith, that's right, graduate of the class of 1949, and his photograph is in several places in the exhibit. He's also a Presidential Medal of Freedom winner, so that's another one of the lounges. And we've got him in the Lost Colony area downstairs. But we've got a number of other folks. Ben Jones, who was Cooter from the Dukes of Hazzard. Jack Palance, both Academy Award and Emmy Award winning actor.
So this is one of the examples of the hallways with historic photos and historic people, including Miss Friday, as well as all sorts of different stories behind these people that most people might not even realize what it is.
Right. This is actually the health and medicine corridor, and here we have images of people who were involved in the schools of medicine, dentistry, nursing, the School of Public Health. Mrs. Friday, Ida Friday, is a graduate of the School of Public Health. And here we have a gentleman who studied in the pharmacy school. He went on and finished his degree elsewhere, but his name is Caleb Bradham, and you may not know his name, but you certainly know what he invented. He opened a pharmacy in New Bern in the late 1890s and developed a drink he called Pepsi Cola. This is the Natural Sciences corridor, and along this corridor we have images that represent Moorhead Planetarium. In fact, we have John Motley Moorhead here. Elisha Mitchell, for whom Mount Mitchell is named, who was a professor of geology here early on. A number of interesting folks. And then as we turn the corner, we come down the Business and Economics corridor. This is actually one of the 2 longest corridors in the display, and there are a number of very well-known names here, people who have been titans, if you will, of industry and business in North Carolina and nationally.
A lot of familiar faces to me as a journalist on this hallway.
Right. This is one of the most famous of the corridors. This is the Journalism and Communication corridor, and we have a number of folks who've been involved in the field of journalism over many years along this corridor. We have people like David Brinkley and Roger Mudd and Tom Wicker, Vermont Royster, who's editor of the Wall Street Journal, Charles Kuralt, Jonathan Daniels, and his father Josephus Daniels, both of whom were university alumni and editors and publishers of the News and Observer. We also have bits of history of the Daily Tar Heel, which is going to be 120 years old in 2013. Here we have a front page of the Tar Heel. We've also got an early staff photograph. It's a very interesting photograph, actually, from 1898, and it shows a woman, which we wouldn't expect to see, but this is Mary McRae. She's actually the first woman to enroll in the university. This lounge is very interesting. This is what we call the firsts at the First State University, and it's really one of the most fun of the lounges on this floor. We have all sorts of things here. The first female graduate of the university here. We have the first African-American undergraduates who came in the fall of 1955. We even have the first mascot, Ramses the First, from 1924.
Of course, if you have Ramses, you have to have the collection that is dedicated to the university's national championships. Throughout the hallways, there are many names and faces that are familiar to UNC alum. There are elite business leaders, sports icons, groundbreaking lawyers, and government officials, which include governors, a vice president, and even the president of the United States.
And then we have this interesting photograph that was taken on University Day, which is October 12th. This photograph, October 12th, 1961. That day is celebrated every year as the anniversary of the cornerstone being laid at the first building, which is now Old East here in the campus. But that was a very special University Day. You can see in this photograph that we have on the far left, Terry Sanford, who was governor in the early 1960s and is a university alum. William Friday, also a university alum who became a president of the system, and John F. Kennedy.
The exhibit is open to the public, and except for the photos within the guest rooms, all photos are able to be viewed when you are at the Carolina Inn. To learn more about the Carolina Inn and the history on UNC exhibit, go to our website, unctv.org/ncnow, and click on the web links page.
Podcasts on UNCTV.org are made possible through the financial contributions of viewers like you, who invite you to join them in supporting UNC-TV.